Hey Danny, how you doing, man? Well, right after we hung up the phone, I found the solution. It was a simple stop loss, incorrect calculation, multiplication actually. So I'm gonna show you here on the tester. Here's a GMT time. On the tester, is the same thing, but it's at 10 o'clock. So at 10:15, the indicator should start. I have the indicator and the EA running right on this. So the indicator will start doing its box, and then I'll talk you through the rest of the stuff. So there's a box now. It hit price. Now notice there's a little gap right there and there and there. That has to do with the spread. So as you know, when the bid hit the, I'm using a half a pip spread. When the bid hit the that level, the actual price, just like in the real trade, is a little bit higher. So I added a input, and it's set to true to adjust by the spread the stop loss. So this distance is the same as that yellow distance. If you want me to, I can shift everything down, and you see all these lines line up. So that's the way I have it right now. So now we're gonna see what happens. This one's gonna go out to the other side, and we're gonna see what happens with the TP2, and I'll talk you through that too. Hold on, let me pause for a sec. Okay, had to pause because the machine started going crazy. Too much memory or CPU is being used. Okay, so now we got the stop loss, and you see there's no new trade. If I had shifted these down, it would close and open a new trade. Because because the bid hasn't crossed the line, there's no new trade. So you know there is a possibility in this case, I guess, that it would it could take off, right? Um, so yeah, maybe maybe it would be a good idea to shift everything down. Yeah, let me know. So anyway, here's the example of the or to open it right there and then, right? Here's an example of the new trade that has two lots instead of like the first one that had one. Um, I got the break even ready set up and also the trail at 5.5. The thing is that if you notice, we're never even gonna reach this. So this take profit really doesn't even need to be there. Maybe I'll remove it later on because it's to our benefit, right? That the less they know, the better for us. So let's go on and see what happens. So when it reaches around here, remember because of the bid asking, now it's at break even, and we got half the lots. It closed half the lots. Okay, so now we're going to see that price will come down here, and it's going to bump the stop to this point. So there you go. See, now it moved the trail stop once it reaches. So the next level would be 5 pips down, which is the trail stop. So if price reaches this level, then this stop will be bumped down to here. So yeah, it isn't like the step lock, but and there it closed it. And it isn't like the step loss, but it's just fixed. The trail stop is the step lock, so it's just fixed. But if you need to, we can fix that. I'm gonna change over to the inputs to show you something. Okay, GMT time 7:10, because if you wanted to open on the so is it GMT 10:15, or is it 10:15 on the broker, or I forget. Let me know. The reason it's two, I just saw why, is because the the EA will look at the candle that opened the 10:15 plus the candle before it, which is the candle you want the high and low from, right? So it starts at 0, and then it counts 1 over It counts those two, and then it looks for the highest high and the lowest low of those two. Since the 1015 one barely opened, it's not doesn't have a high or a low, so this is still valid. If you feel that I need to change it, let me know. But that's the reason it's two, because it's counting. You know, when the 1015 candle opens, it's just a flat line. It's counting that as a candle, and then the candle before it, and then it looks for the highest high, lowest highest high, and the lowest low of both of those two candles. And obviously, it's going to be the previous 15-minute candle, right? Because the 1015 doesn't have anything, right? And of course, that's the bars into the future. How many bars from the 1015? I think 1015 or 10 o'clock. I forgot which one to count to stop the to stop operation if nothing happens. And a close if if you have you can if you set this to true when this when it reaches the end, it'll close any open trades, anything. Lot sizing, that stuff. This doesn't work yet, but I'm gonna actually add a couple of more things. Um, of course, here's your stop ranges. Are these if these defaults are the ones that you use? Let me know. If not, I'd rather put your to start off your defaults. So just let me know. And of course, you can now you have a choice. You can skip either trigger, right? You can skip the first one, or just skip the second one, or skip both of them. In which case, nothing happens. You could set your own stop loss instead of using the high and low of this one. And of course, the take profit. We got 5, and this is that input I told you about that adds to the what do you call it, to the stop loss of a buy trade. If you just let me know if you want me to shift everything down, I can do that. I can shift so that the price will open, the ask will open right at the line, and the stop will be right at the lines. And then we might need to do that because, like I told you, if there's a case where, like right now, the way it is, it could happen that price just doesn't go down to hit the thing, and it just keeps going up, and then it's never gonna trigger anything. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna have to do that. But here's a question: do you want it to be shifted like that, and I can make it? This will only happen with the buys, right? I can make it so that when it closes, it'll for the for a buy when the buy goes at the sell stop, it'll close, but it'll open the new trade right away, and everything will be set the same. 10 pips, whatever. I think I'll do that. I think that's better. But I mean, again, let me know if you want me to shift down or keep it the way you saw it right now. Hope that makes sense. And of course, we got our stop break even, and this is gonna be where this might not even. Probably remove that one. This is where you're gonna choose if you just want the 2 times TP1, right? Or if you want the next pivot or 0, or if you want to try the 20 to target the 20 ADR. These don't work right now, but that's the idea. And of course, the minimum pips for the second TP is 10, so you can change that. But I think that's what we talked about. And then trail stop for the second trigger is 5, right? And this is where you get to choose if you want to double the lots on that second trade, if you want to close half the lots on the second trade, or if you want to remove the TP after close of the second trade lots, and after half of them are closed. I should change that, but defaults are true, so just left in there for in case you want to mess around. I think that's it, man. I think it works. Just need to add this guy and this guy, and I think it works. And it fix the. Yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna do that. let me. I'll send it to you, but it's gonna have the fix with the the ask when it buys. It'll shift everything up, and it'll have the what do you call it? It'll open the trade right away because otherwise it might not happen. Okay, so the copy you get will have that. I'll test it, make sure it works, and then I'll send it to you. And but if you want me to, I can shift everything down so that all the lines line up. Okay. Alrighty, man. Thanks.